the power of African unity and economic prosperity. The everyday African markets we see today served as historical trade routes, which have now mostly been forgotten in the annals of history, while unemployment continues to skyrocket in many African nations. It's about time Africans discover Africa, from the Africans living in the diaspora to those living on the continent. Africa, our beloved continent, rich in resources, culture, and potential. But there's one thing we seem to struggle with: unity. Instead of coming together to build economic power too often, we find ourselves divided by tribe, race, creed, and religion. And guess who benefits from our division? Those who have historically exploited us. If you stumble on most of our discourse on social media debates between Africans, what you will find are arguments stemming from interspersed colonial-era maps that divided Africa into regions. Just scroll through any social media platform. What do you see? Africans arguing over ethnic superiority, political tensions, and historical grievances. But do you know what we aren't discussing? Trade, investment, innovation, strategies that could lift millions of our people out of poverty. And that, my friends, is a problem. African trade routes of the past included Timbuktu, Great Zimbabwe, Swahili Coast, and many others, which goes to show how African kingdoms once flourished through commerce. Before colonial interference, our ancestors mastered trade. The Ghana Empire controlled vast gold routes. The Swahili Coast was a hub of international commerce. And the Mali Empire? Mansa Musa's wealth is still legendary today, but today we have forgotten our own economic power. Why? Because our conversations today are meant to profit Western corporations so they can constantly discuss African markets while African farmers toil in the background. Because division keeps us weak. When we fight, they profit. Western powers have spent decades ensuring that Africa remains fragmented, preventing us from forming a united economic front. Meanwhile, global superpowers sign billion-dollar trade deals while Africa struggles with unemployment and underdevelopment. For example, the African Union and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement meetings, just to name a few, are supposed to be meant to empower and innovate young African entrepreneurs. But the conversations at these unending meetings provide a lack of direction or, in certain cases, implementation. But here's the good news. We can change this. Imagine if we stopped arguing and started building. Imagine if every African youth learned about trade instead of tribal conflicts. If every entrepreneur sought partners across borders. If our development banks, like the African Development Bank, truly unified to create wealth for ordinary Africans. This is exactly why I created this channel, to spark the right conversations, to push for economic empowerment, to remind Africans that we are stronger when we trade together, build together, and grow together. I invite you to join the movement to reverse the effect of the negative trajectories of the past by first clicking the like button, then subscribe and share to invite others on this new path to Africa's progress. Over the next few days, I'll be going live to discuss Africa's path to economic power. We'll break down trade opportunities, expose obstacles, and even invite continental organizations to the conversation. So if you're ready to be part of Africa's economic revolution, subscribe now, share this message, and join the conversation. Because when Africa wins, we all win. See you at the live sessions.